asked you to come up with variations on a theme. So you're not just producing the same thing 3 times. What else can you do? And I thought, let's think of something that you've never done before, Scotchko. And I thought of a whole bunch of things, but this was my first idea. What if I added a dashed line? And I started with the same single stroke, and then I went under Window and brought up the stroke panel. Now the stroke panel, at least for me, opened up in this very unhelpful kind of manner. But it has, like a lot of panels have, these upward and downward arrows. This little button to the left side of the name. And you click it, well, that's not helpful. And click it, whoa. And it goes through the options. So many of these panels have a number of different ways that they can be viewed. And it's up to you to notice that little double-headed arrow wherever it appears, because it doesn't always appear. But now you can see this actually, it's because I don't have anything selected. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and then this is going to change back. Whoa, well, we don't need transmode. We'll leave it there. If you accidentally drag something out, you can put it back, click back on stroke, and then notice that, forget the weight. That just is a factor of me selecting after I use the width tool to make this thing wider. But it has a cap, corner, and how you want to align the stroke. And this is how this particular one was created. And you can see the dash is 5 pixels and the gap is 2 pixels. And then there's an option to add different types of dashes. And then there's these 2 options for the dashed line. Now, I can get in when we talk about this more. There are definite reasons to use different settings depending on what you want to do, because the stroke, as Illustrator applies it, depending upon how it's aligned, what the corners are like, and what the cap is like, you'll get very different results. Hey, how come my corners look terrible? It's because of the corner setting. So we'll get to all that in the future. But for right now, we're just experimenting. And these are the numbers I used for this. And then I duplicated this layer. I'm going to deselect. I duplicated this layer. I'm going to hide that one. And I tried something different. Okay, I'm hit Command A this time to select all. I have that bottom layer hidden. You don't have to lock it if it's hidden. It's automatically locked if it's hidden. So that saves you some time. And you notice here I changed the cap. And I got these rounded little dashes rather than the square ones, the hard-edged ones. Now, maybe that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. I did play with the weight. I made, I wanted to see what would happen. So all of this is still live. You can change all this. You can up the gap, lower the gap. And here's a trick. You just put your cursor in here next to that. You can hit the downward arrow. And you can change the number so you're not typing and say, maybe I want to go back the other way. So that's really helpful. So your eyes can be over here while this number's changing, because let's face it, this number doesn't matter. What we're looking for is the visual result. What do we get out of this? So experiment. I want you guys to think of crazy what ifs. And yeah, you couldn't think of this because I'd never shown this stroke panel. But there's a lot of windows here, but not all of them are going to apply to our line. So hunting aimlessly can be fun and can lead to discoveries, but it can also lead to, well, that's stupid. That doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work for what you have selected and what you're doing. For something completely different, it might work great. So just know experimentation. Kind of cool. It's not, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's something unexpected and something I had never tried before in all my years in Illustrator. And the stroke panel, this thing got more sophisticated, I don't know, 5 years ago. Adding this feature was just awesome because it gives you even lines. So depending upon what you have selected, if I hit Command A, changing this might or might not change what you see. I won't spoil the surprise. It depends on whether it's a closed path, an open path, whether you got lucky, whether the math needs to be done. Illustrator's going to do this for you. Very, very cool stuff. Fun to play with.